Alrighty, well, welcome everybody to another PD session from the ISTE PLN for video conferencing, and we're thrilled to have Empatico here today. We saw Empatico at the last ISTE conference. They had a booth and learned about a couple things about them and went, wow, this is a great program that would sound perfect for our team and our group. And I think we also reached out to the Global Connections group as well. So hopefully they'll be joining us here or watching it on video on the recording as well. So of course, this will be broadcasted on our YouTube channel as well. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to our expert, and we will learn more about this exciting free program.
All right, great. So my name's Eliana. I've met most of you now. I work at Empatico as a partnerships associate. And so I work to try and find ways to bring Empatico to different districts, networks, communities, schools, really any educational space. So I'm excited to be able to talk to you today about what Empatico is. I'll do a little bit of a demo about midway through to show you what the user experience is going through Empatico. And then I can just open up the floor to any questions that you might have about how to bring Empatico to your space, whether it's at a museum, at a school, district, whatever it might be. So I think I'll just start by showing you a 2.5-minute video that just explains a little bit about Empatico before I dive in. So let's see if I can do that. Can you see?
This is my friend Miriam's house. This is Miriam. This is where she does her homework. Her favorite thing to do is knitting. So far, she has knitted a beanie and a scarf for her friend. She lives in South Africa. I live in America. This is me.
That's my friend, Lily. At her school, they don't wear uniforms like we do. In the summertime, they play outside on the playground. She loves playing football the most, but she calls it soccer. I also love playing soccer. That's me. My name is Latif.
That's my friend, Latif. He lives in Nigeria. At school, they play soccer during break. Latif's two best subjects are mathematics and art. And he loves to dance with his friends.
We understand ourselves and others through stories. We learn a lot of these stories when we're young, during childhood. Who we learn from and who we know shape how we understand the world. These stories form the foundation for how we think about others.
Do you like swimming?
Empatico is a free online learning tool for educators. It connects classrooms to offer children the opportunity to build relationships with their peers around the world. It helps deepen empathy at a young age. But most importantly, Empatico helps humans see each other as humans.
All right, thank you for watching the mission video. I thought it would be a good way to expose you to a bit of what we're trying to do with Empatico, and now I'll dive into the presentation. All right, are you able to see the presentation all right? Great. All right, so thank you all so much for inviting me to speak with you this evening. Empatico is a nonprofit organization that was founded 2.5 years ago. We were able to become an organization because of the founder of the Kind Bar company. I don't know if you've ever tried them, but the founder of Kind was born in Mexico, and he's the son of a Holocaust survivor. And so he understood from a very young age what happens when you stop seeing people that are different from you in some type of way as human beings. So he donated $20 million to found and fund Empatico so that children from around the world would be able to interact with and appreciate the differences and similarities with kids from around the world across lines of difference. So the main goal of Empatico is to give millions of educators and students the opportunity to tell their stories and explore their similarities and differences, and ultimately practice empathy with peers from around the world through meaningful virtual connections. So I will start by saying that Empatico is a free tool. It is completely free and will always be free. That's a commitment that we have from our founder and from various funding sources. And we focus on working with students ages 6 to 11. And that's because when we were working on developing the platform, we saw that a lot of the neuroscience research showed that this age range was when children were most impressionable to creating positive perceptions of difference. So we really wanted to create a preventative tool before kids develop these deep-seated biases and prejudices against kids that might be different from them in some sort of way. So all of our activities are research-based and also standards aligned. So they're really designed to foster meaningful connections and promote empathy and social emotional learning throughout. So I wanted to share this quote from an Empatico educator from Pennsylvania. Shout out to Sandy, I think. So she says, "I feel so strongly for Empatico because we don't have a lot of diversity in our district. Empatico takes education out of the four walls and takes students places that they wouldn't get to travel. Empatico gives them the basic life skills to be successful once they leave this little town. This was the most exciting for my students." So I'm going to dive into the website now. So another screen share. Are you able to see it, or do I have to No, okay. I'll go back in. All right, there we are. All right, so this is our platform. As I mentioned, Empatico is a free tool that connects classrooms from around the world. We have over 30,000 registered educators on our site from over 145 countries. And the platform is really easy to use. Everything that you would need to have the virtual exchange, from the video conferencing technology to the messaging to the activities and the matching algorithm, they're all on the site. So it's really easy for teachers to sign up and to use. All of our activities, we have 12 different ones so far, and they each follow a three-stage structure. So we have the prep phase, then actual video exchange interaction, and then finally the reflection, which is when we really hone in on the key social emotional learning skills that we're developing through Empatico. So you'll see that all the activities are designed around central themes and universal themes that any student from around the world, regardless of their background, where they're from, would be able to connect over. So things like ways you play, mapping out your community, the weather outside your window, how do you engage in your community, some energy-related activities, festivals. So we have a wide range from STEM to social studies, and some of them are also sustainable development goals related. And so these are each of our activities. You can see like an overview of the activities and then click on the activity itself to get an activity plan that you can access. It is quite extensive, and teachers have everything they might need to lead an exchange, but they also are completely free to do their own thing if they want to have an exchange on comparing astronomy or like the way that the sky looks in different parts of the world. It can really be about anything that you're passionate about. So that's a little bit about the activities. Do you have any questions so far? Great. Well, then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you log in and sign up as an educator. So essentially you would just click, you go to empatico.org. Oh, I'm already logged in. You would click sign up for free. And you just put in your name, your email address, and you create a password. You click sign up for free. And from there, you'll be able to go into your email address and verify that your account has been created. Now, I'm going to take you into our sandbox site to show you what the sign up process looks like.
And while you're doing that, about how many schools do you have? Okay, I guess I see it now. About 403 registered educators.
Oh no, sorry. This isn't our official site. It's just one that we use for demos. We have over 30,000 educators from many different schools. Oftentimes we have educators sign up on their own, whether they found out about us through conferences. We have like Empatico ambassadors that are teachers that really love Empatico and go to different events to sort of spread the word. But sometimes we also have entire schools go through it or entire districts as well. So we've had tech specialists come to us and say, we want to do Empatico in every classroom. Can you help us make that happen? So definitely lots of different ways that Empatico is being used. So you would just log in. So after you verified your email, you log into your account and you'll click on your My Match tab. And from there, you're going to put in some key criteria so that we're able to find you a list of potential matches that you can that can become your partner classroom for the various Empatico exchanges. So we match based off of 4 different criteria. First, the average age of your students. So you can say 7 to 8 years old. You can choose any of the activities that you're interested in. So we have, if you're just an art class, maybe you only want to do art from the heart, but oftentimes we see that people will, even math classrooms will be open to doing many different kinds of exchanges. So you would click Save My Activities. And then we also match you based off of the schedule that you provide. So we have a scheduling tool here where you can put in exactly when you're free. You'll also put in your location, and that's just so that we only show you matches that are at least 300 miles away from you to try and promote that difference that you'll be navigating through the virtual exchange. So you're able to put in your times, and then the scheduling tool will take into account time zone differences, so you never have to do that conversion on your own. And then we have connections in both English or Spanish, or both. So you can say, as a classroom, let's say you're a dual language program, you might want your students to be practicing Spanish with native speakers, or perhaps you work with English language learners and you want them to only connect to English. But we'll say we're bilingual, so we'll do both. And then finally, you'll click View Potential Matches. So now you have, our algorithm runs after you put in your different criteria, and we'll show you a number of classes that have overlapping availability, overlapping interest and activities, never over a year above or under your average age of the students in your classroom, to make sure that developmentally they're on the same page. And then, of course, at least 300 miles of distance. So you can see here, let's say you want to connect with friends. You can send a potential or request to match to as many teachers as you want. And then as soon as you get as soon as your request to match is accepted, you can begin your exchange. So does anyone have any questions about that so far? I'll stop sharing.
I've got a question.
Yes.
I know it said that it was for ages 6 through 11?
Yes.
Can older, like secondary classes, for instance, like a high school Spanish class, enroll to do practice with someone that's, fluent in Spanish, or is it just you can't if you're older?
So currently it's only for ages 6 to 11, but we do get that request a lot. So we definitely welcome any teacher to go onto our site and use any of the activity guides that we have. Because I think they would be really helpful, even for older students. I used to work as an English teacher in Argentina, and definitely was doing the same type of activities for my college age students there. So I think it really spans any age level, but because our matching pool is limited to ages 6 to 11, we wouldn't want 10-year-olds matching with 17-year-olds if that's not what we're promoting. But that is not on the horizon, we hope. Yeah. Any other questions about the matching process? Yeah.
What if you're trying this out and you realize, oh I'm getting all these people who are putting in requests, and I was just kind of playing around with it. How do we take it back so that we don't send the wrong message out there?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
So I'm a coordinator. I submit some stuff in there to try it out, and then all of a sudden I'm getting match requests. I feel bad because I really don't have a class to work with because I'm a coordinator. How do we go ahead and just kind of pull that out of there so we can clean it up?
Yes. Okay. I will show you what that looks like right now. So I'll just share my screen again.
Not that I'm doing that or anything, but
No, I mean, we honestly welcome, I think it's great for people that are implementing Empatico in their school or in their district. It's great for them to create an account, and I'll show you how you can do that and not be matched. So are you able to see? All right, I'll make it a little bigger. Great. So once you've put in your criteria, you've clicked Find My Match, someone's accepted your request. So you log back into your account, and it'll take you right to your match. So we can see here where we've matched with Pina Bendaña from Tegucigalpa, Honduras. And this is what the dashboard looks like once you've been matched. So you can send a message, I'd love to connect soon. You just send it right here. You can access all of your teacher resources right on this left-hand panel. So you can see all the activities here, depending on what type of classroom or exchange you want to be having, you can look through. And then we have all of these resources for teachers. So we have an activity that's specifically for the teachers to get to know each other before they bring the students into the classroom for the exchange, how to use Empatico to practice a new language, tips for navigating student differences. So if teachers have any anxieties about sensitive topics that might come up when you do this intercultural exchange, we have some tips there. How to set up your room for this sort of exchange, parent take-home letters, and lots of different adaptations for students with special needs or younger kids. And all of our activities are designed to foster 4 key, we call them Empatico skills, but they're essentially social emotional learning competencies. So those are respectful communication, cooperation, perspective taking, and critical thinking. So those are all very important to us, and we hope to promote those through each of our activities. So once you've sent some messages to your partner teacher, you might decide, okay, I want to have like a 10-minute conversation with them before the exchange so we can talk through our lesson plan. So you can start a live video and do a teacher chat. And so it just looks like a typical Skype interface, and you can see your partner teacher in the upper corner. And then once you might have decided on a day to have your exchange, so you can send an invitation here, and then you would just click exchange, and it'll take you to the waiting room essentially, and with some helpful hints. You can also do a tech test before your exchange, so you can run that here. and you can just test your microphone, your sound, and your connection quality. Any questions about any of that? No? All right. And then the last thing I'll share is just this shared resource, shared folders area. So this is where you can do things like virtual pen pals. You can share student artwork here. It's really flexible, and it's just here for teachers that might want to do some asynchronous exchanges in addition to the live video conferencing. That oftentimes is the more common exchange platform or type of exchange. And we do have 2 activities that are specifically designed for asynchronous exchanges. Those are Art from the Heart and School Tour. And that is just a product of us realizing that some classrooms were having issues connecting synchronously due to connectivity access. So in order to make it a more accessible tool, we have these offline exchange guides as well. Great. Any questions? Awesome. All right, the last thing I'll share with you all, if you're still able to see the screen, are our standards that we have aligned to. So all of our Empatico activities are aligned with various academic standards, 21st century skills, and SEL. So if you're looking to promote something in particular like digital literacy, maybe some ISTE standards for students, you can see here, you can click on it and see how each activity aligns with Empatico's skills and activities. And you can see that in more detail here. So you can see each activity and then how it aligns to different standards and different ages as well. And if anyone's curious about the research that went into creating Empatico and the activities, you can download the research brief here. And we also just finished a study with Stanford, with a Stanford PhD student who helped us measure some of the social emotional learning that was happening after a few Empatico exchanges. Great. So I will.
Do you have any data? Yeah, do you have any data about how many connections each teacher who does sign up for this and finds a partner winds up doing?
I can definitely find that information. I know that once a teacher actually has an exchange, over 50% come back for a second exchange. But we see a wide variety of ways that teachers are using Empatico. I'll stop sharing. So essentially, you could log on to Empatico and use it for one exchange with a teacher from one country, and then immediately end your match and try and find a teacher from another country. We have some people that just hop around, and then we also have teachers that are connected the entire year, and their classrooms develop a really close relationship, and they'll exchange like once every 2 or 3 weeks. So we do have teachers that use it 20 times a year, all of the same class. So it just depends on the way that the teacher wants to use Empatico. And there's complete flexibility and autonomy with how teachers use it. We never prescribe that you use our activities. You can go off and do a community service project together, or we have some design challenges that we've seen classrooms doing. We have one fellowship that after they do the weather outside the window exchange, they'll use those perspective-taking skills and critical thinking skills, and they're tasked with designing a uniform for their partner classroom based off of what they've learned, how they've been listening to their partner classroom about what their climate needs are. So lots of really interesting ways that people are using the platform. Yeah, does anyone else have any questions about that? All right.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything with the site. It's a very exciting program, and I'm looking forward to people signing up and being a part of it. I know that I'm pushing it with my elementary school. I think they're going to start signing up next month or at the beginning of the year, the new year. So I think you one time you mentioned that there was a scholarship opportunity for people who are interested in getting this started. Is that correct?
So we ran a grant program for this academic calendar year, and then we're not sure if that will be continuing, but at the very least, we are definitely committed to making sure that Empatico is accessible to any community. So if you are in a district that needs web cameras to be installed, that's something that we can help provide for your school, for your museum, whatever it might be. But the grant program might not officially be running next year. It just depends. But definitely, please reach out if you have any questions or ideas about how you might want to bring Empatico to your community. I'm happy to talk with any of you. If anyone's in New York, I am based in Times Square, which may or may not be an appealing location for you, but I'm here. And in addition to the grant program that you mentioned, we also have this social emotional learning professional development program that's completely free. So I'll just show this really briefly. But it's called Harnessing Self and Social Awareness to Develop SEL Skills in Students. So that's something that we developed about 5 months ago. It's a free PD. It's completely self-paced, and it's for educators for grades K through 12. So it's more accessible in terms of the age range, and teachers can earn a badge after each course. We have like the building the foundation component, which are the first three activities and courses. And so those are more focused on the theory behind self-awareness. And then finally, the second level is the classroom application. And so it's an active online community of teachers. We use the Participate platform if you've ever used it. And you get support from facilitators. You're a part of another professional learning network, and you get all these lesson plans and free educator resources. So if anyone's interested in that, you can go to this link right here, and I can send it to Paul after to send out as well. All right, that is all, unless you have any pressing last minute questions.
I have a really quick question.
Yeah.
You mentioned web cameras. So can you give me a little bit of information, like what kind of equipment do I need? Can we just use cameras on my laptop, or yeah, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we designed Empatico so that it could be extremely accessible. So we have classrooms that use iPhones to do the exchanges. It functions on, as long as you have a camera, connectivity, and a microphone, you're able to have the exchanges. So we definitely see more frequently either laptops being used or having laptops with a projector, and then people can definitely buy other equipment. We have people buy like special microphones that they can bring around the classroom, but at the very least, a camera and a laptop and a projector if possible, just to make the image even larger for the class that's participating. That's definitely better for larger classrooms, but we've seen for smaller kids, just groups of 15 all huddled around the laptop. And if you want to see some really amazing videos and snippets of what exchanges look like, if you go onto our Twitter page at empatico.org, it's really fun to see how teachers get creative with the room setup and just the different ways they're using Empatico. But yeah, so if you have a laptop, you're good to go. But if you have laptops that don't have cameras, then yeah, we use $11 web cameras from Amazon, and they work really well.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Great. Well, it was so nice to present and hear from you all, and I hope that you found it interesting. And thank you, Paul, for inviting me to speak.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And again, we'll be posting this to our YouTube channel for the ISTE PON. And thank you again. So I'm going to stop the recording.
All right.